And Augustine said it best, and I'll toss it to you, right in the opening of the Confessions.
Sure, yeah, our hearts are restless, so they rest in thee. And that came through a lot of struggling with his own desires and realized what really is it. And when he finally realized that what the true desire of his heart is God and God alone.
Late have I loved thee, ever ancient, ever new. Late have I loved thee. I caught your fragrance, and I can't get enough. Or, I'm paraphrasing Augustine there, but he realized that everything he was pursuing in these finite pleasures, the finite pleasures at their best can only be a glimmer of the infinite joy and bliss for which we are destined and that Christ came to give us. So I like to tell my students the journey of conversion is really the journey of reorienting our desires from finite pleasures to infinite pleasures.
Right, which is Augustine, which is exactly what he, in his own journey, discovered.
I mean,
right.
I love to eat, right? I love my wife's cappuccino cheesecake. But that piece of cappuccino cheesecake is going to be gone when I'm finished eating it. And I want more. I'm made for more than what that can provide. And if I think that the cappuccino cheesecake is really what I want, I'm going to become a glutton because I'll just go back for more and more and more and more. And then you become addicted to the pleasures of the world. But I love this from Augustine. This is a paraphrase, but he's credited as saying something like this. Those who are lost in their passions are less lost than those who have lost their passions. I love that because it shows the fundamental interior reality that makes Christianity click is getting in touch with the hunger. Christianity is for hungry people. And the whole idea of law is not opposed to your finding satisfaction for that hunger, but the law is saying, you're not going to find it there. Let me show you where you're going to find it. And I love here also something I learned from Louis de Montfort years ago, back to that Garden of Eden story and the idea that God is opposed. God doesn't want you to have something. Well, it looks good, right? Eve says it was pleasing to the eye and delightful for food. And she wasn't wrong about that. It wasn't a foul, disgusting, evil fruit. And it's not, and this is Louis de Montfort. He says, paraphrasing, it's not that God didn't want them to have a knowledge of good and evil, but he wanted them to trust that he would grant it to them as a gift from his hand. And the lie was from the enemy is God's not going to grant it to you. If you want that knowledge, you got to take it. God's not giving it to you. You got to take it for yourself. And one of my mentors, the late, great Monsignor Lorenzo Albacete, who was a personal friend of John Paul II's, and I had the honor of studying under him, he said, every temptation comes down to one temptation. It's the temptation to believe that the satisfaction of the deepest desires of our hearts is totally up to us. We don't believe God wants to grant us the gift of the satisfaction.
Because he's against us.
Because he's against us. It goes all back to that lie.
Yeah. And these rules are stupid rules that actually are restricted. It's a joke. It's a game that he can impose upon us, but really it's to make us miserable.
Yep.
And that was the temptation of our parents, to perceive God as that, not one who wants to give everything good.